Ready to lift off when you are, Cap.
Value again. You're advised. Be advised, you are entering United Colony space. Please maintain course and prepare to be scanned. And complete. Enjoy your stay in New Atlantis.
I have things for you. Captain! Over here!
The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was. So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's my relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the colony. They called him Ve Victus. Woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military mind, secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. A non-trivial amount of gene editing. Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor. He and I are different on more than a few levels. But I'm the last. A few of my siblings, they passed when we were young. Training accidents and the like. But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the Colony War. And they never... Not a day goes by where I don't think about what the world would look like with them still in it. I'm getting there. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot. Freestar Collective, and the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be for. He had his men open fire on civilian ships during the battle. A battle that he ultimately ended up losing anyway, devastating the UC fleet and bringing the... But He's also the one who ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport during their outbreak, condemning. Both sides agreed the settled systems would be better without him. I really appreciate you saying that. I just thought you deserved to know. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into them. Or if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good... No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars. The Red Devils unit I was a part of, they were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything, the human eye included. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint. The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, and the eyes were my parting gift. Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terramorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. Which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should... Well, thinking about it more, I suspect there'd be value in sharing the fact that the Terramorph... There's no need to be afraid of this data. Knowing that should calm some of the cabinet's fears and make it easier for us to dispel any suspicions the other... Then I guess it's just a matter...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue. Here we go.
Here on Vanguard business?
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope. So now, we have two petitioners here making access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three armistice signatories. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
That's quite the leap, Cap. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, Terramorph attacks are not some sudden new They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty war.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, I would also ask how many deaths the cabinet requires to act. 50? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all?
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualty... But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Yes, a fine point. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position...
I'm uncomfortable opening the archives without gathering more information. However, if that's the path forward you prefer, then so be it.
I'm inclined to agree.
As am I.
I suppose that... very well. I consent. The galaxy was...
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree... What was that?
Attention. An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident? Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
Damn it. They're here. Now.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming, and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
Rifle, grab it! Now!
Stop! We're trying to help you!
Please! I can't
Stop! That's it. Now hit him with everything you've got.
Gonna make you pay. Goodbye. See if they've got anything worth taking. Bad luck for you.
Thank you for what you did.
The way those people were acting. I've seen this before. They were under the terror.
I don't know. We tried to restrain them, get them on the train, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just...
Pheromonic projection. Some terramorphs they can induce. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control. Turn against everyone around them, even if they... You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire. I'm not suggesting. The result of the projection, though, can vary wildly. Some folks just... and some lose control altogether. They'll lack those cases. You'll either need to knock them out with EM fire, or free them by killing the terramorph. Let's do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please, do what you can to help them.
Something's out there.
No time to waste, Captain. Stash the EM and pull some firepower. Let's move!
An evacuation order has been issued for the spaceport district. All citizens are required to proceed to the nearest shelter.
One back up! Don't just stand there! Kill it! It's got me!
Captain! You're going to be okay! It's not real! Whatever you're experiencing right now is not real! We have to
Officer? Are you and this woman experts? Take whatever we can get right now. We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, but we're barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before. Well, one fire team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here, but we know how to handle pressure.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us. Roger that. We're on you. Getting all worked up over nothing.
Never safe.
You're not so tough. Help! They're gonna kill us. Please help.
All wrapped up. We should go tell the sergeant what happened.
It's over. Thank God. If these things reached the populated areas of the city, we would have had an absolute massacre on our hands.
guess our people once...
The few protecting them.
And it would have been plenty more if it hadn't... The city owes you both a debt.
We were just in the right place at the right time. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been... Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Attention. The spaceport has been secured. Safety precautions remain in place. Please wait for the all-clear signal before exiting your homes. That is all.
Thank you, gentlemen.
He's got
Captain?
the cabinet's full backing to
Hadrian?
prevent more attacks.
It would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today, as well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the Cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The Cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative. The Cabinet wants progress, and wants it quickly. You're already far more familiar. There's also no diplomat alive that can claim they helped keep a cadre of Terramorphs off the embassy doorsteps. The Cabinet was you. We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us? I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide. You should be able to find her in her office, and on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies.
I'm gonna go check in with Chief Engineer Kulkarni. Start getting a plan together for that data.
By the way, Captain, Sergeant Yumi was looking.
You've seen these orders. A vanguard, Captain. You
sir. I'll make sure they get what they require. That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat Mac. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor. Accessing the we're going to do everything in our power to make sure you have, and that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the
Someone paid attention in current events. So, then you also know that it was original. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each UC Freestar Collect.
Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collect. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done.
I couldn't agree more. Both ambassadors have reasons they won't or can't. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get...
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar or Ambassador Bal? Ah, the good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is... Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and
use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on...
Certainly. See, good diplomacy is all about the careful application of pressure.
UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an...
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to...
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with it. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe even could...
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe, bears less of a grudge. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the... and someone who very likely...
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promise.
All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options.
Ambassador Balmore's. When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the arm, he's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
Well, these days, they're primarily considered a security threat. House Varun Zealots, a fundamentalist outshoot of the group that stayed behind when the rest retreated into seclusion, want nothing more than to send... But that hasn't... After they ended the Serpent's Crusade about 70 years back, House Varun did take a real run at trying to normalize... It's why they have an embassy here in the first place, why they were included in the armistice negotiations, but leaving behind, to our knowledge, just the ambassador and...
It does. We're not 100% sure about his public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind.
Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his... Then you search the embassy for his biometric key, collect your code piece, and we'll go about notifying his next of kin. If we can... But let's hope it doesn't come to that.
The embassy is still legally House Varun's sovereign territory, so we're not technically permitted inside. We've snuck in the occasional spy, of course, but the ambassador has proven more. But we're quite sure he hasn't left this. The Varun delegation brought more than a few of their native flora. It seems those plants have been allowed to flourish, making...
I have no doubt. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, and fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security.
Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her.
Be smart out there, Captain.
Yes?
What? Oh, sorry. Just a terrible attack. I'm lucky to still be here.
This space is
There are worse ways to spend the day than...
Hard to believe it's been 2 decades since we... I'm going to be upfront with you. I'm not happy visiting anything related to the Freestar Collective. But you lead, and I'll follow.
More than one? Oh? That's security, and they still can't protect their own spaceport. The UC never fails to disappoint. I just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excuse me. Are you supposed to be in here?
Sorry. Everyone's a little on edge after the attack.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment? Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives. Some of the most highly guarded information. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me,
I was afraid. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit wasting... You're really gonna push this? All right, I will give you one. I'm listening. Please don't talk to me like I'm some cold-hearted monster. You're not gonna flatter me into acting against... Oh, yes. This band... Captain, I'm sorry. All that security, and they still can't protect their own spaceport. The UC never fails to disappoint. I just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excuse me. Are you supposed to be in here? I'm sorry. Do you have... Ah, you're the one, Mac. You have my... Now, now that you... I can only... Let me be frank. I will not be the one... You're really gonna push this? I'm listening. You know that for sure. That is interesting. I suppose you're right. Our job and... You think this is about a grudge? Captain, I'm sorry, but... I'm sorry. Ah, you're the one... You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Now, now that you... I can only Let me be frank. I will not... You're really gonna push this? I'm listening. The warmongers of the UC will find a way to make it dangerous. I suppose you're right. That's all the UC... Captain, I'm sorry, but...
Sounds like it was a real mess down at the spaceport. I'm sorry.
you're the one, Mackin. You have my now. Now the use. I can only presume. Let me be frank. I will not be the one. You're really gonna push this? I'm listening. The warmongers of the UC. I suppose you're... If you think some flowery line... Captain, I'm sorry, but my answer... I'm sorry. Do you... Ah, you're the one. You have my thanks. Now, she also... That now the UC want... I can only presume. Let me be... I will not be... You're really gonna push this? I'm listening. You know that for sure. That is interesting. It's a job I take very seriously. It's possible I might be letting my history clap. And the archival monitors can ensure that's all you take. Well, Captain, you make some good points. But if I'm really granting you access, I'm gonna need the your access will be limited. We will be ensuring the monitors only permit you access to items related to stopping. You go in once. You get everything you need on your trip, and all research done with the data will be monitored. If this data is being used to save the galaxy needs to be involved. Freestar scientists will watch your... So, do we have an agreement? Excellent. Follow? Tell me it should only take a moment. And there. Here, I'll reach out to Deputy McIntyre. We'll coordinate the necessary oversights. Two unlikely allies, I guess.
It's a shame House Room abandoned their embassy. We could learn a lot from one another. isn't what I expected at all. It appears the flora they were using as decor has overgrown the entire embassy. Would it actually be more fascinating if its branches weren't blocking our way?